have a college student at home too. I know what you mean. Somebody says paper's worse. Somebody says mail. Somebody said, I wish my husband would let me throw this away, clutter. Now that is interesting. I've heard many ways of resolving this. One is, can you give this person a dedicated room or closet where you put all their stuff and then it's just their worry? I've heard of putting it in a box and getting them to agree that if they haven't opened the box in a year, you can get rid of it. I've heard of people just like quietly taking things. I do not advocate for that because I think you can get in big trouble if you get rid of things with people that are belong to people. But actually in my book, Outer Order, Inner Calm, I talk about a lot of things that you can do to try to loosen the grip of people who are having trouble letting go. There's a lot of different reasons, and depending on what a person's reasons are, certain kinds of arguments will probably be more effective than other arguments. But it's definitely something that comes up a lot. Somebody says paper. Someone says paper and books, and I'm a pro organizer. Oh, no. Paper, clutter, and photo memorabilia. It's interesting that so many people say paper. Clutter under the bathroom and kitchen sinks can be pretty bad. Well, I had insomnia the other night and I cleaned out under our kitchen sink and it was very satisfying. Small piles for each project, clutter. I find it very difficult to sort. Now, I'm always very wary of saying that you should run out and buy containers for storage. First of all, you don't want to buy a lot of stuff to store your stuff. Second of all, containers are often a way to just jam more clutter into place, and then it's better to go through and take out anything you want to throw away or give away or recycle or donate, because then a lot of times you don't have a lot that you have to organize. But if you do have a lot of individual projects, you might find it helpful to have bins or something where you can just put it in the bin and then move the bin around. Rather than if you're the kind of person who is sort of stuff on this little table and stuff on this windowsill and stuff on this counter, it can start to feel very kind of out of control for you and for other people. If you are just joining, I am Gretchen Rubin. I am host of the Happier Podcast. I'm also the author of books like The Happiness Project and Better Than Before and Outer Order, Inner Calm and The Four Tendencies. And my sister and co-host Elizabeth Kraft couldn't be here today because she has an important Hollywood meeting by Zoom. I am sure she will be wearing a collared shirt, but she'll tell me about that later. And so we're talking about the issues related to clutter. And again, I think this seems like a trivial issue, but I think now when people feel like so much is out of control, one of the ways that we're trying to assert control is to control our environment. And I think one way to try to calm your mind is to create less noise in your environment. So for most people, I really do believe that outer order contributes to inner calm, which is why I wrote that little book. Someone says bathroom clutter, especially travel size products. Yes. Someone says, this is interesting. So this is from a professional organizer. I'd say for 90% of my clients, it's paper and hanging on to kids' artwork, etc. You know what I'm going to do? Is it crazy? I'm going to step out and run and get my answer for kids' artwork. Hang on. I'll be right back. Okay, so this is what I did for my kids. They each have a file box that's like this. It's just a file box, and there's a file for every month for every year of school. And so it's fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade, seventh grade, college, whatever. And then I take special art pieces, their report card, our annual Valentine's card, the card for their birthday party invitation, any kind of special certificate that they got, some papers that they wrote, whatever is appropriate for the time. And I put it here, and it's great because I know exactly where things go. When my daughter was trying to apply for college, and she was like, what did I do this summer between 8th and 9th grade? Well, we could look in here, and of course I stuck in some little memento thing. And so it's very organized, it's very compact, it's easy to carry around and it kind of forces me to use my judgment, because I can't put in everything. Now I do have another folder for little kid stuff, because then they do artwork that tends to be oversized and things that don't fit. But I try to keep that pretty minimal too. Because what I found, and I write about this in Outer Order, Inner Calm, when we carefully curate mementos, First of all, they're more fun because they're more carefully chosen. And also, they're easier to look at because if you have 5 boxes in the basement, you're never going to look at it. But if you have like a file folder for 7th grade, you could look at that. And then also, when we're carefully making choices, it's easier to let go of the things that we don't want to keep. Because sometimes we keep everything because we don't know what's most important. But by really using the mental discipline to decide what is the most important, what's the most typical, what's kind of the best, what's the paradigmatic, little paper that they wrote or something. And it ends up, there's just not all that much that's super special. But if you just keep everything because it's easier to keep it than to go through it, it can pile up really, really, really fast. And then it's like, okay, your kid's a senior in high school and you're looking at the stuff from 1st grade. Well, you're going to be so incredibly sentimental. You're not going to want to get rid of anything. But, at a certain point, you have to make decisions. Someone says, I cleaned out 2 junk drawers today. Oh, that feels good. Someone says, I've been able to maintain a couple of clutter-free zones that I retreat to. Well, that's a great strategy, especially if you have kids or a messy partner or spouse. There's certain places that they can't go, so that if you need to have that calm, you can get it. Someone says, miss the box. Can you bring it into the frame again? Here it is. It's just like a fancy file box, but it's just a little bit nicer. If you go into my blog, if you look up, I think like memorandum box, you just like go Google Gretchen Rubin memorandum box. I have a link to like this actual product, but it doesn't have to be this one. This just happened to be the one I got. It's just more, it's like a cardboard banker's box, but nicer, because it is a memento. Says, do you ever regret throwing stuff away? I have never regretted throwing something away. Elizabeth does regret. I made her get rid of a oversized t-shirt that she wore for like a nightshirt, and she was sorry that she got rid of that. So in honesty, I was the one who got her to do that. I am a happiness bully, and she regretted it. So, but usually not. Well, wait, was there something the other day? No, I don't really think so. Now you can enjoy the memories. It's super emotional with the senior in high school. Yes. Someone says, I just saw you on, by accident, or I just saw you by accident. Are you changing from 2:00 to 4:00 daily? No, we were going to stay at 4:00. It was just today. I had something and Elizabeth had something. And so we just couldn't do it at 4. Do I ever digitize mementos? I have to say that I don't. I don't like that. I am always afraid that a device is going to die. But I know that a lot of people do. How many people do digitize stuff? Some people, I think, really, really feel like that is the way, and to digitize it. And I will say there are many, many services that will do that. Will take, tapes and CDs and, Betamax, all kinds of things, photographs, any kind of thing you want, and digitize it. And it might be that is the safest way to keep it. It's a part of it is how you like to use it and how you like to refer to it. It's probably a generational thing too. Someone says, my daughter-in-law has enjoyed those things that I save for my son. And yes, I have a special box and I've weeded out all of his toys and sold them online. Wow. Some collectors really wanted and sent the money to my son. Well, see, that's kind of a win-win-win. Somebody says, happiness bullies are the best. Well, thank you. That's nice to hear because I have to own that. Someone says, local redundant hard drives. Yes, there we go for that. Online storage. Yes. Another thing that you might tackle if you were trying to create more outer order in your life is a bad smell. I really feel like few things are just more of a bummer than a bad smell. I remember when we moved into this apartment, the dishwasher smelled really bad, which turns out it needs this certain kind of liquid or whatever that I didn't know. And I remember just thinking oh my gosh, have we made a terrible mistake by moving into this apartment, because it's even the dishwasher is smelly. And so I think that sometimes I don't know, there's a weird smell under a bathroom sink, or there's some pet thing that's kind of smelly, or there's some weird area in the backyard that's always wet, and so it's kind of slimy. Do you have an area like this in your house? Because if you do, you maybe just want to avoid it, because it's no fun to be around a bad smell. But getting rid of a bad smell is just the best feeling in the world. Someone says stinky fridge inspired to clean it. How many people have had a stinky fridge? Yes, leftovers. You never know exactly what leftover is the culprit. My family is not so great about sealing things. I try to explain to them, like if you cover it, you have to cover it completely. It's not just like a gesture of putting stuff over it. You want to do it completely. Okay, so your challenge for tomorrow. Okay, first of all, I'm Gretchen Rubin of the Happier with Gretchen Rubin podcast. If you did the challenge for the weekend of doing before and after photos, please do post those if you're so inclined and tag me because I love seeing before and after photos. The challenge for this week is to use this rule, which I'm going to spring on you. And I write about this in Outer Order Inner Calm. A friend of mine told me about this rule, and I was very skeptical. I did not think it would work, and now I'm the hugest proponent of it. And this is the rule to take one thing with you. If you were going around your house or your apartment and let's say I'm in my office and I have a dirty coffee cup. And let's say I'm going to my bedroom. My bedroom is like halfway to my kitchen. So I have my dirty coffee cup. I don't take it all the way to the kitchen because who could possibly take the time and the energy to walk all the way to the kitchen? But I will take it as far as my bedroom, or there's a little table kind of outside of our bedroom. I'll put it there. So now it's sort of halfway to the kitchen. It's not all the way to the kitchen, but it's closer to the kitchen than it was when it was in my office. Now, you may say to yourself, as I said to my friend, hey, this is just rearranging clutter because nothing's getting put away. It's just moving around. But what happens is that if I get it halfway there, then the next time I'm in the bedroom and I'm going to the kitchen, it's just very easy for me to take it with me. I don't know if you live in a house with stairs, it's like growing up, we would put it on the stairs. And then if you saw something of yours that was on the stairs, you're supposed to take it from the stairs and take it up to your room. This works really well. And this is the same idea, which is put it halfway there and then take it from there to its final place. It doesn't sound like it would make a difference. It makes a gigantic difference. I cannot tell you how astonished I was by how effective this take one thing with you is. So if you don't already do this, I challenge you to try it today and report back tomorrow because I'd be really curious to know if it's as useful for other people or if it's just something quirky about me where this was the thing that unlocked it for me. For a lot of people, I think it's the 1 minute rule. But for me, this made a huge difference. So now accountability check-in. What are you being held accountable for? Put it here so we will know. And then if you get a gold star, what do you get a gold star for? Because we love giving gold stars. Someone says tips for organizing all the electronic power cords. I put them in a Ziploc bag, and if there's like a whole set of things with a set of electronics, I put them together in a Ziploc bag with like a piece of paper or the manual or whatever that says what it is and the date, because especially with things that turn over, you want to be able to get rid of all of the stuff that goes with it if you're getting rid of the device, and so it's very handy to do that. I'm a huge fan of using Ziploc bags. Give me a thumbs up if you love a Ziploc bag. And I reuse them. I use them over and over and over again. I use a Ziploc bag as like my toiletry kit. I use Ziploc bags to organize cords. I use Ziploc bags to organize jewelry. I love Ziploc bags. Someone says, my house is so small, it's only 15 steps from the bedroom to the kitchen. Well, there you go. Wonderful. Then you can probably create a lot of outer order. Oh, so gold star for writing daily. Excellent. Someone says, I have a basket on the stairs. I'm always praying one of my kids will bring it up or down. It does take some training to get into the habit of that. The date is helpful, someone says. Yeah, I think the date is helpful. Someone said they did their tax returns. Excellent. Okay, another fan of the Ziploc, best invention ever. Someone did yard work that had been putting off for weeks. See, that again, that's kind of the idea of power hour, is that there's something draining about these things when we don't do them, and then just the surge of relief when they're accomplished. It's completely irrational, but it's irrational, but it's true. Someone says finished portraits for Mother's Day presents. Wow, that sounds good. Gold star for waking up before my son. That's great. My wonderful husband helped me clean up the garage. That's such a good feeling. Also prepared my taxes. That's excellent. Yes, I kept unpacking. That's great. I have a great use of Ziploc bags in COVID-19. You put your hands in them and carry them with you to open doorknobs, etc., and then you throw them out after your trip. Oh, so it's sort of like if you don't have a glove. If you don't have a plastic glove, you can use them. Good idea. This is so fun. I will tell Elizabeth she can go back and look at everything that we talked about. But we will be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. And so thank you so much for joining. Remember, your challenge for tomorrow is to use the take one thing with you rule. Also remember that the book that we're going to be talking about is David Sedaris's Me Talk Pretty One Day. That's on May 21st. And everybody have a great rest of your day. Let's keep our hands clean and our minds clear. Thanks.